Hey guys, coming back to you again with another video. Obviously, I had to come back and do more of Jada Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. This time I got Ken, and honestly, there's not much I can say about this figure that I haven't already said about the other one, just because at the same time, it's like, you gotta think Ken and Ryu were basically hand in hand in the games, and they were very identical in terms of rivalry and whatnot. So they probably might have the similar build, similar sculpt, but just I had to cover this guy again too, just for all of you guys who enjoy Ken. But I'm gonna take this guy out of the box. We're gonna check him out, see what he comes with, see how he is, and of course, review him. Before I go into the actual action figure, I wanted to show you that before I forget, just like in the Ryu box, these figures come with like a detail in the back where it's like these cardboard, but they're maps. So just like how Ryu came with like I think it was Suzaku Castle, something like that, Ken comes with the Harbor one. So if you guys are a huge fan of collecting these cardboards too, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get like a different arena per figure. Here we have Ken outside of his box. And yeah, just by taking him out of the box, I immediately knew exactly what I said earlier, is that he's just like a silhouette of Ryu. That's what it is. Because, well, in the game, can you really ask much? I mean, the only differences were, like, obviously he has, like, similar characteristics, but he also has some that are very unique to Ken as a character. So, just like how Ryu had, like, a serious face and then, like, a more angry tone, you know, obviously this guy, he comes with, like, his standard, like, arrogant look, and then he has, like, a different sculpt. I'll go over that right now, but yeah, very similar to him. Now, again, I don't mind it because back in the day, you had to think like Ryu and Ken were silhouettes for like the longest time. It's not up until now with like Street Fighter 6 and a little bit before that they started kind of giving them their own like personality, started giving them their own, you know, move set to give them more uniqueness and separate the two. But I can't complain, man. Again, they kind of like nailed it with the sculpt. I am a huge fan of Ryu, so I won't go over too much. You kind of already have an idea what he is. But going over the accessories that he comes with these open palm hands. So you can get a better look. There we go. And he does come with this head here. So kind of looks like He-Man a little bit. And again, what I do like about what Jada's doing is they add a lot of soft plastic into their figures from what I'm noticing. And I do love that because that's the thing about certain companies, again, that they have certain sculpts for certain characters, but then that specific sculpt just gets in the way most of the time. So then it doesn't end up really even working or just becoming a pain in the butt for a lot of collectors. But check this guy out. So with his head sculpt, this is the one that he comes with on his body. He has soft plastic for his hair. I love it. See? Soft plastic. So obviously it's not going to be like something crazy where it's not going to get in your way. I mean, it probably will, just not as bad. So this is the other head sculpt he comes with. He's more angry in this one. You see, more soft plastic for his hair. I love that about Jada, man. I love it a lot. So we're just going to pop this guy right back on. Perfect. Very easy. But yeah, again, just like Ryu, I love what they did with this gi. The gi is soft plastic also. In case you guys missed the last video, I highly recommend you guys go check it out. But I'll just go over the articulation like I did with the first one. But yeah, look, see? You remove his gi here. So we'll just remove his belt, and just like that, it has a peg here to kind of like piece all the things together. So I'm gonna remove his gi, and now you guys can see his articulation without it on. All right, well, again, this figure is very similar to Ryu in a way. I can't really stress how much they're very similar. At the end of the day, it's all about the aesthetic. I really like the aesthetic that they're going with this. I mean, this is Street Fighter 2 for crying out loud. The editing back then and the graphics weren't the best. They weren't too crazy, so the character detail wasn't too impressive either. But just look at the difference. There's still a few differences here. So like Ken looks a little bit more top heavy than Ryu does. This is a little bit with them side by side. But for the most part, I mean, I love it, dude. There's really not much I can say. Just going over the articulation now, just the exact same. He has these butterfly joints. So you can have them come in this much. So you guys can see. Look at the back. And you can have them come back out just about here. So you can see he gets his arms out pretty back. I like that. His arm, ooh, this figure's a little stiff. Sorry, guys. His arm can go about this high, this low. And what I was saying in my last video too is I do love how these figures are double jointed elbows and the knees with no peg holes. I can't stress how much of a huge fan I am with that. So double jointed elbows. He has a wrist swivel. And the wrist is on a peg too that you can articulate. So he can go about this far back. And he can go forward this much. Perfect. Now, again, what I wanted to go over with his head here so you guys can see. So you know how I was telling you about the soft plastic? You can go about that far back. Hold on, hopefully you guys can see it. There you go. You can go about that far back and his head won't get in the way. Obviously, you're going to be somewhat limited, but it's not bad. So that's a huge plus on them for going soft plastic. So see, he can still look up pretty high up. He can look down this much. And again, they have like a little neck peg here. So you can even move the neck around, get some extra motion. Good articulation. He has an ab crunch here. He can go about that far back from the top. Hopefully you guys can see that better. That far back on the top. He can go, that much down. And then he has a lower abdomen joint too. So with those lower abs, you can send him back this far back. See? And he can come this far forward. I feel like he can get a little bit more motion actually than Ryu does. But it's probably because he's a little bit wider. So not bad at all. Or maybe I can end up getting that same kind of movement out of Ryu. I just gotta mess with them a little bit more. When it comes to his legs, he has a thigh swivel here. He can go about this far up. See? And he can probably end up going this far back before the butt starts sending him backwards or more out. Okay, and then he has a double jointed knee. And another thing that I like about this figure is I was going over it with Ryu. Check this out. Let's get the focus in. He has an ankle swivel and ankle pivot. So he can plantar flex about this much and dorsiflex about this much too. Very similar to Ryu. Very similar. So if you guys were again, thinking about picking these guys up, I highly recommend them. I love the aesthetic that they're going with this. I enjoy these figures so much. I haven't enjoyed an action figure in a really long time, just because the ones that I used to collect in terms of like, you know who, it was always the same body sculpt I felt like for the longest. And again, they didn't really show like that extra care for their figures. So seeing these guys coming right out the bat, and I did mention this in the last video, where they think about anything that could be a limitation and they try to do the best they can to avoid it. And that way the collector, whenever they're trying to pose, it's not going to get in their way too much. So I do appreciate the figure a lot. Now, another thing that Ryu comes with, and I didn't go over this, is Ken came with his own version of a Hadouken. And you're probably thinking too, like, why the hell does Ken have a Hadouken? It's just repainted. Dude, again, this is coming from an era where, like, these characters were very similar. They were a silhouette of each other. But I do appreciate the fact that they didn't just go with the classic blue Hadouken, and they kind of added a little bit of some Ken flair, so they kind of made it more into like a fireball, which I appreciate. I do wish that this figure ended up coming with like a flame effect for an uppercut for his Shoryuken, but either way, I don't mind it. I do appreciate the simpleness to it. I can't ask for more when it comes to Jada, when it comes to like these figures specifically. Even in Smash Bros, you can even tell, like, all right, these guys need a little bit of their own little taste, you know, their own flair to it. But again, not too picky. I do appreciate this line, and I am excited to see the other figures in the wave now that I kind of like somewhat got the silhouettes out of the way. But hopefully we'll start seeing a little bit more specificness to the other figures. But yeah, guys, I wouldn't doubt these figures at all. If you are a huge fan of Street Fighter, pick them up. If you like good articulation and just good quality too, feel free. You guys could pick up these Jada action figures in GameStop, Target, Walmart, with some of the stores having their own exclusives. But if you're having some trouble finding them anywhere else, make sure you check out my boy at Toyco Collectibles. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.